just wanted to come on here and share a dream that I had. I really didn't want to share it, but I've been disobedient for too long, and I felt that this was something I needed to share. So the dream that I had was on August 11th. August 10th. That was last Saturday, waking up to Sunday morning, which is August 11th. So I'm just gonna begin at the part that's not personal, because obviously when the Holy Spirit speaks, it's not just to, and he wants you to speak to others, it's not just to convict others, it's also to convict yourself and warn you, because the word is not just for one person, it's for everybody, including the messenger. And in this part of the dream, there was two specific animals that were trying to get me and attack me to kill me. And I was trying to run away, and I was asking for people near me to help me. And they advised me that this man was leaving to just jump in the bed of his truck. And this man had to be around like 60 years old. It was a black, big pickup truck, and I got in the back, and he drove off, and where he was taking me or driving to was a very familiar road, and it's a road that a family member actually lives in. And he parked on the neighbor's house, their driveway, and he gets out saying, "Oh, come on and go ahead and get out." I said, "Oh, I did not think you knew I was in here." He said, "Yes, I had prayed to God for a woman that I can help." So we got out the truck, and he started walking over to my family member's house. I'm like, "Oh wait, you don't live here?" He's like, "No, it's over here." So we walked over to my family member's house, and the layout was a bit different than what it is in real life. When we walked in, he was introducing me to everybody, and it was nobody that I knew. It was a bunch of strangers. The first entry room that we came in, it was people around my age, so late 20s, and the house was filled with people of all races, so it wasn't one specific person. So like a place of refuge, basically. And when I first came in and he was introducing me to the people that were my age, they were like, "Oh, excuse me," like as if they were upset. But when he brought me over to the next room, like the living room, then over to the kitchen, there was older people and little small children, and they said, "Oh, they're upset because you made a mess." And when I looked back, I saw my footsteps with dirt, and they were saying, "It's okay, I'll clean up." I'm like, no, I'll do it. So I cleaned up, and then me and the old man and everybody, like the older people, went outside, and we were getting some things from the truck, and we were gonna go, again, that's at the neighbor's house. The truck was parked at the neighbor's house for some reason. We started walking back to the inside of my family member's house, and it's nighttime, so it's pitch black, obviously with moonlight. But I look into the sky, and it's this bright blue asteroid thing. I couldn't see the physical asteroid, but I could see the ring of fire around it, which was blue, and it lit up the sky. It appeared to be daytime. When it landed, I didn't hear an explosion, and I didn't feel any tremor. And I was just praying to God, that he finds me worthy, apologizing for my sins and repenting. And then I run inside, and I start screaming my kids' name, trying to grab them. They weren't there originally. I'm not sure why they popped up, but I went to go grab them, and I'm like, "Look, guys, I told you I wasn't playing. This wasn't a lie. It's happening now. I'm telling them to just pray and repent and just talk to God." I look over to my left, and it's a rain of fire falling down, not from the sky all over, but on a very specific home. And then I look to my right, and it's the rain of fire on another very specific home. And then the next thing I see is the rain of fire, not coming from the sky, but coming around my family member's house to come into the door. So I run inside, and I close the door, and I duck, and then I tell the people that are in the home, I said it's coming from the back. I'm like, duck. So the rain of fire was coming from the back of the house trying to get in also, and we all ducked, and the next thing that fell was the rain of fire on top of the house. And all the power went out. And I go look to the back of the house, and I look in the sky, I can see the moonlight, and I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, I didn't think this was coming so soon. I didn't think this was coming so soon. I thought we had more time. I regret not getting the supplies that I needed for water. Now we don't have any. And I go to read the Bible to the people around me. There's a circle, and to let them know what's going on. And a couple started arguing, and then they walked off, and then no one was listening to what I was trying to tell them. And then the dream ends where I'm looking for a way to get to Walmart to get the supplies that's needed for the water. So when I woke up, obviously I'm meditating on this dream, and I'm trying to, because it's a lot. There was a lot of personal, and then the part that I mentioned to you guys. So it was a lot. I didn't get the interpretation right away of what it meant. And this was waking up to Sunday, August 11th. Later on that night, I was scrolling on my Instagram, and I came across the page of this man. He tells the news of what happened that day in less than a minute in his Instagram reel. And what caught my attention was the picture that he had in the background. The green screen was a picture of a meteor, and it was blue. It wasn't the exact same one that I saw in the dream, but it caught my attention because it was the color blue. And he was saying that there's a Perseid meteor shower, that the peak activity was that night and the following night, which would be August 12th. Apparently this meteor shower runs from July 14 to September 1, according to Google. But those two specific nights, it was the peak activity. The Perseid's meteor shower, if you guys don't know, it's a meteor shower that happens in the constellation of Perseus. That's why it's called Perseid's meteors. And according to Greek mythology, he was the son of Zeus, and apparently, according to Google, he kills Medusa. The name of Perseus is a Greek origin, and it means the destroyer, to destroy, the destroyer of cities. And what came to my mind, the dream was these rain of fire was coming into very specific homes, and it brought me back to Exodus, where God hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he would not let the people go. And the last plague was the spirit of death, and God's people were told to put the blood of a lamb, I believe it was, on the top of the door, and everyone that was marked with the blood, the spirit of death could not come inside. And it could not come inside. So it was the spirit of death, that plague was only coming into the homes that were unmarked. And that was reminding me of when I was meditating on my dream, and I was coming to the understanding that this rain of fire was judgment on the people, believers or non-believers. If you heard the word and you didn't believe it, regardless, as well as for the lukewarm Christians that wanted to have one foot in the world and trying to be a follower of Christ. Being lukewarm is the same thing as just living in sin. It's the same thing as not being a child of God. It's the same thing as being a non-believer. And as well as, so we're in the month of August, and as I'm recording this dream, according to Google, I believe today is the blue moon, so it's the second full moon in the month of August. And we know that the skies tell us the times that we live in, so everything that happens, it's symbolical. God always warns before he brings any kind of destruction, any kind of judgment. When there's judgment, it's because he's already given us warnings. He's already had mercy, and now it's too late, that it's done. He needs to do what he needs to do, based off the choices that we have made, because obviously he doesn't want anyone to perish. He didn't create hell for us. He didn't want us to be apart from him. He wants us to be with him in heaven. And again, it's not just for the people listening, it's also for myself. It's for everybody. We're all going to be judged when God comes. And in the dream, I thought we had more time. I thought we had more time to prepare mentally. I thought we had more time to prepare spiritually. I thought we had more time to prepare physically with the things that the human body needs, food, water, emergency supplies. But this home was a place of refuge in the dream, and I just felt the need that I needed to share this, because I'm pretty sure this just confirms what you guys have already heard, because nothing I'm saying is new, because God confirms his word through the vessels that he chooses to use. It's nothing that hasn't been mentioned for years. But I know I've heard plenty of people mumble that, oh, God's been saying he's been coming for forever and he still hasn't came, and we in our humanity, we tend to stop believing that it's actually true, or doubt, or think it's a game, myself included. And God's time is not the same as our time. So one day could be a million years to him. 1 million years could be a day. It's not the earthly time that we live in. So he can come right now if he wanted to. Obviously, no one knows the day or hour. But my point is that in the dream, I thought we all had more time. And even non-believers are speaking of the power outages that they're planning. So it's not just believers that are being moved. It's also people that don't even know God or don't believe in God. So I say this to remind you guys, prepare your hearts, your homes, your families, your emergency necessities while we still have time, while you still have the resources to do so, because once it comes, it's going to be like that. We're not going to have time to be able to get what we needed to get, what we were instructed to get, when we had the time and the resources to do so. So the time is now. And again, pray to God, take this to God. Don't just take my word for it. And read his word, pray, worship, and he might give you something more specific for your family. Again, God bless.